That's funny.
But no, so today we got a special guest, a good friend, a dude I consider a brother of mine, Mr. Will Stephenson. Will, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you taking some time and joining me today.
Nah, man, I've been trying to get on here for a minute. You know that.
Dude, let me go ahead and lay this out for the people. Nobody has been put on hold, rescheduled, postponed more in no hat history than this man right here. So I'm glad we finally got to get on here and knock it out.
True.
But I mean, so you got a lot going on, bro. Like you said, you got the job you just started this week. But I'd be ashamed if we didn't talk about the hoop, something else that I feel like some people who are listening to this might already know, but some might not. My man has actually been training hoops for a little while now. And if someone would have told me back 5, 6 years ago of all the people that I rock with heavily,
Yeah.
that's something that you would be doing, I would not have been so surprised in the slightest bit. So it makes perfect sense. But talk to me. When did that start?
I mean, bro, we gotta throw it back because you and me used to get that work in the Y, bro.
Yes, man.
It wasn't like training like I'm really methodical now, but like we get after it. We were running some nice drills. We were grinding out there.
This was like, it started what, eighth, ninth grade. So yeah, we
Yeah.
we know all about the grind for sure, man.
Yeah. But so it was crazy. It's a pretty cool story. So, COVID came around, it's hard to even keep track, like a year and a half ago, 2 years, something like that. And it came around in the spring and like school ended and everybody likes to get a nice summer job usually, have a little extra cash, go out, do whatever you want to do. And a lot of places like weren't hiring because the job market came really bad with COVID because they didn't want to bring any new people in. And half the businesses were closed temporarily or shut down. It really wasn't good.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how can I get some money that's not just like a terrible job, right? Like I got to the point where I was like, I just need a job, bro. I'm broke.
Yeah.
And so I was looking, like the job I was looking at was a maintenance man. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm like, I ain't the maintenance man type. I'd probably break everything, but it was like $9 an hour. I was like, man, I really don't want to do that.
I'm not that guy, pal.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not at all. So I realized I was like, well, most people won't know this. I volunteer as a youth basketball coach down here. So like since my sophomore year at Auburn, so it's like 3 years now. I had been a basketball coach, and I'd met a bunch of kids anywhere from 6th to 8th to 9th grade right now. And I was like, I know a lot of kids in this area. And I was like, I know a lot of I know about the grind in basketball. I wasn't supposed to be good at basketball. I trained really hard. Trust me, I wasn't built for it.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, maybe I can start training kids for some money. I was like, I got a couple close guys that families that I coached with the dads, and I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I don't know what you guys got going on this summer, but I'm thinking about starting a little basketball training. It'll be super cheap. We do it out at my apartment complex, and y'all should come check it out. Really appreciate it. And they're like I said, these guys are really cool with me. So I started with about one or two kids. I think they were 5th graders at the time.
Okay.
And my big selling point was, I'm not running a nice facility. I don't got a gun. I don't got all the crazy gear. I was like, it would be like $15-$20. I'll work them for an hour and a half. At the worst, I'm babysitting them for an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
Give the parents an hour instead of kill.
Yeah. So it just kind of started pretty small. And that summer I didn't work with more than 3 kids, but it was just enough to get by where it was the cash I needed. And it was great with COVID. I was doing something I enjoyed, I was getting outside, I was getting some exercise, and I was working, helping kids grow. And then the more I did it, the more I really got into it. I really started I was like, man, I started doing I'm not say research because research sounds too educational, but I'm following a bunch of trainers on Instagram and, all the social media resources. You'd be surprised how much you can learn from that.
I
And
believe it. I follow a good bit now, a good bit of dudes who kind of do that thing. It's out there for sure. It's out there to find if you're really looking for it. So I could definitely believe that there's some guys to look at to help out, to help
you
you
know who
out.
Chris Brickley is?
I do know Brickley.
Chris Brickley's the GOAT. So a little side note, he had a couple internships he opened up applications for, and I probably sent like 50,000 in. I was like, pick me, bro. Pick me, bro. But yeah, he didn't pick me. No, but so I get started slow, it was cool. And then next year came around, everything was still pretty close with COVID. I decided to keep it up while I was in school because everything was online. So it was pretty easy just to make it work. And slowly but surely I was picking up, like a kid would be like, hey, uh Baylor's got a friend who's really interested in this. He has a lot of fun. And then I was like, tell him, come on. And I could do like one session with 3 or 4 kids, make all that money in one time. Super nice. But I did coaching that next year or that volunteering.
Yeah.
And to anybody who's ever coached youth sports or tried to, it is frustrating, especially when you've played at a high level. I'm watching kids like first of all, the conflict is I got to play everybody the same amount of minutes.
Yep.
Y ball stuff. And I got kids in this league who are hitting like step back fades in 5th grade from 3. And then I got kids on my team who are not even dribbling the basketball when they get it. Like they get it and they're just running with it. And I'm like, bro, you really got to dribble it. And he's like, well, how many times? I'm like, I can't believe you're even asking me that.
Look, that's the one thing I've always, and I was going to ask you about it too. Like I've always thought about with training and coaching in general, is I've thought to myself, like, yeah, it'd be real cool. I love the game. I love basketball, but like, what's the lowest I could go?
Yeah, where do I have to start, man?
Because it's like high school kids, they know what they're doing. They know how to play basketball.
Yeah, they're playing ball at that age. Usually, that's past the age where like kids in 5th and 6th grade, their parents just want them to not be playing Fortnite, so they get them off the couch. And you got all kinds of kids in here, kids that don't want to be there. And then, like I said, you got those grinders. And you want to know the most disrespectful thing, bro? I got these coaches are. I got to play these kids. These kids come in like into the second half. Let's not blow this lead, or let's just like damage control. Yeah. And they got their best player on the court. He'll run a pick and roll, get the switch, and he'll ISO this kid. He'll just be like, clear out. And I'm on the sideline. I'm like, double, triple. Don't let him do Robert dirty. Look, and then cook these kids, and I'm like, dude, this is 5th grade. I'm like, y'all can't be doing that.
Look, if it got to a certain point, man, I'd be so hot. I might have to throw on a jersey, run out there and check them. Like, you're not gonna just do this while I sit here on the sideline and watch you cook, man. So
like, I've coached. The oldest I've coached, volunteering, was 7th grade.
Okay.
I coached 7th grade 2 years and 6th grade this last year, and God, going back down was tough. But I had my 7th grade team made it to the championship 2 years ago, and I had a kid that was as tall as I was. So like I was for once like, hey, okay. So I got that bit. There's always that one massive kid in the league that like walks in, and I'm like, yo, your brother plays? He's like, he puts on his jersey, and I'm like, yo,
we could do something with this.
Yeah, no. So like we were really nice, but then I discovered the kind of dark side to youth sports, man. You get to the championship, and then there's always that one team in the league that the dad who is like runs the league is coaching, and then they've just got a lottery team. So they had Auburn strength and condition. Then when I made it to the championship, the other team had so I had a kid that was like 6 feet tall. So I was like, yeah, we're pretty good. I'll take our chances. Little did I know, apparently there's something in the water down here. There's like 2 kids that are like 5'10" on their team. They got twin towers. I'm like, what is going on down? I don't remember anything like this when I played Y ball, bro. We were running.
Where y'all finding these kids at, man?
Yeah, dude, I swear, I don't know. It's like they got Giannis out there just running over my little kids. But youth sports is something else, man. It's a good experience. It's really rewarding. Like the kids are always so fun, so nice. The family's really nice. But like sometimes in the moment you'll be getting really into it, and I'll be getting mad over there. I'll be pacing up and down the sideline. I'll just be like,
no, man. Look, I can already imagine. And I remember kind of back when near the beginning when you first started, just seeing the Snapchat stories and you posted like, yeah, we're working, like you outside. And I just remember over and over as the days kept going, like you kept doing it, and I was like, oh, this man, like, he's pretty serious about this. And so, first of all, you mentioned when you started out, you only had, a couple of kids, 2, 3 kids. At
Yeah.
that point in time, how often were you working out with them a week? Was it like a weekly thing, or were you getting them?
So when I first started, I had one kid. Only one person immediately was with me, and
Okay.
he worked every single day. He was about that grind.
I
I
like
mainly
that.
think his family just really wanted him to be like he's an athlete. Don't get me wrong. He's not one of those kids that they just went out the house, but like they wanted him constantly doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were happy to pay. Like I charge like $20 for an hour and a half. Who anybody who has paid for any kind of sports training knows that it's really not that
It's
bad.
a steal. No, like I'll say it. Look, that's a great deal. I remember growing up, man. I mean, Brewer, other just tons of people. That's a great price, $20 an hour.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna do anything crazy because I mean I'm out here working in an apartment complex court. Now it's like granted, I will say it's pretty nice, but it's not anything crazy. It's July in Auburn, Alabama. It's hot. Kids be sweating. But like I started with that one, he worked every day. I picked up a second, and then I'd have a third that came every maybe once, twice every 2 weeks. He was just kind of in and out. And this is where I got sidetracked. I get sidetracked a lot. I was talking about that youth league that next year after that summer. But
Mhm.
after that season ended, I picked up a couple kids from that team. So I ended up having about 4 or 5 same age group. And that was the year that I made it to the championship.
Okay.
And that opened a lot of doors for me that I could have never imagined. Like so it was sixth and seventh. So you like there's a big AAU team down here. I know you know them. A lot of people won't know them, but Auburn Raptors.
Yeah.
So they don't start really their program till seventh grade.
Okay. Gotcha.
So their sixth graders play rec. So those are the kids I'm talking about that are out there that are really nice, that are obvious basketball players. And I had one. I had that big tall guy, and then I had a point guard who I think he's going to the league. But Hayden Spencer, that man's goated.
Remember
Remember
that
that?
name. Hey,
Yeah.
you
But
heard it first.
yeah, um, like their coach reached out to me and he offered me a coaching job with the Raptors, AAU. Now at the time, I mean, if I was a grown and I had a stream of income where I could just sit there and I could go to work and then go and coach, I would. But it didn't pay, and everybody who's in college understands you don't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
so I had to turn it down. But the guy who did that did a great thing, and he was preaching my name out to a lot of people, and he was like, "Hey, if you want to." He's like, if you want to work, come work with this guy, or if you're around this area, come work with this guy, even if it's once every once in a while. And I appreciated that beyond any means. So I started getting a little more kids in there. It wasn't like I just got 20 or 30 or anything. I got like 2 or 3 more guys that were consistent and stuck with it. But
So this is
tables
when you,
really,
not to cut you off, this is when you linked up with, this is when you end up working with AR at this point, because I
oh,
know.
I was about to, that's what I was about to get to.
Oh, go ahead.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I was running my little thing out here in my apartment complex, and then I had the idea. I was like, so money started getting a little tighter, and I was like, I need a little more cash. And I was like, I want to get a little more involved with this. Like the state I am, me being full time in school and then working here, it's like I don't have full time to commit to this and grow this as a business.
Hmm.
So I was looking for ways I could kind of advance through the ranks, like with my given scenario, my time frame and everything.
Hmm.
And I found a guy on Instagram. I might have even found this off a weird Instagram ad. Those weird ads you get that are just
Pop up.
incredibly like accurate for you.
Yeah, kind of scary almost. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super weird. And it was just this local gym run by a guy named Aubrey Reese, ex-Murray State basketball player down here out in Opelika.
Okay.
And craziest coincidence ever. My old maintenance man posted a video, like when I lived at the Grove. Remember those days?
Yeah.
My old maintenance man posted a. Don't even ask me why I had him on Snap either. That man was cool. But he posted a video in that gym, and I was like, I slid up and I was like, hey, ask the guy who runs this if he needs any help. I'll work decent price as much as he wants me to. He was really the guy, the maintenance man was really cool dude. He set me up, and he gave me his number, and I got to talk to him. Turns out Aubrey, the guy who runs the facility, just had a kid, and he's like, man, he's like, I need help more than anything right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even remember the last time I went to sleep, bro. And I was like, hey, he's like, can you come tomorrow? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I got in there, and Aubrey opened. That was when I like to say my things really started kicking off. I got a lot of good stuff going on from there. So I started working with him for him about 3 to 5 days a week, and then I was doing my stuff on the side. So I was bringing in a decent little stream of income right there for a part-time job. I was only working about 20 hours a week. I was making almost full-time living. So I was like, that's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
That's great.
And one thing, like everything just kind of kept compounding. And eventually, like this facility, they opened up a basically an AAU program, like 12 something teams, AR Elite basketball. And they weren't training anymore because they were using all that gym time for practice.
Okay.
And a lot of these kids still wanted to work through the season. They're grinders, hustlers. And I just eventually had these kids that would come and they'd reach out to me and be like, hey, listen, we aren't training here anymore. Can we work with you? Can you come to us? And I had from there 2 or 3 more added on. And like I would go, and at this point, a lot of those kids, I would go to them just to make it a little easier. And they would bring 2 or 3 friends. So like before you know it, I went from a summer working with 2 kids to like 8 months later, and I'm working with 20 to 30.
Whew.
Right. So it was cool. And it stinks that I started this new job because I was really getting in the swing and the flow of it.
Yeah.
But it's been, I've still managed it. So like I train on Thursdays and Sundays now, and I have kind of select groups of my age group of the kids that have been there kind of long term that I work with.
Okay, yeah, I know it's obviously, starting work is slowing down a little bit, but the fact that you're still going with it is dope. I remember there was a while back, you were talking to me about you were trying to find, I'm sure this has changed with things now. You were trying to find a spot in Birmingham in case, for whatever time you were here, you were looking for a gym so that you could be able to do some stuff here.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool because at the time, this was before I hurt my knee, and I actually wanted to do something that the job I should be having started soon might actually allow me to do. We'll see. But I would love the idea of being able to host like some type of runs here in Birmingham. I know if you follow trainer, I mean they have some here and there in places, I know that, but I'd love to do people of all ages, the younger, older people
I love those competitive 5v5, those early runs. Oh yeah.
Yes, man. I think like we need more of those in general down here. And I mean, just, Alabama, Birmingham, just in the area in general. Like I would have loved to have the opportunity.
And there's a lot of hoopers in Alabama too. You'd be surprised.
A
You know what I mean?
lot of hoopers, man. I got the idea because I saw a couple people talking about it. It's not people I know well, but I just saw them on social media talking about they wish they had more stuff like that here. And I would love to be able to find a place, get in somewhere and set stuff like that up. Now, obviously, that was back in February, like I said, before everything happened. And I was going to try to, aim to do it this summer, but now it's still a goal. It's something I'd love to do, down the line. And that'd be dope if you could find, the same for you. Like you got it on the side and you were working and whatever. If we could get a gym, you could do stuff in there. I think that'd be cool as anything. I just wanted to, just because when you mentioned that, I was like, bro, like that's something that if we could do, that'd be dope. And,
so listen to this. This is my big scheme, man.
let me hear it.
So it's just weird, man, how things sometimes just fall into place. It just seems so weirdly perfect at times in life, because life's so crazy. You never you're one way and you're the other way. But things at the end, they always sometimes just kind of fall in line in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this new job I got, I'm learning so much that applies to athletes in a non-athletic setting. So like I was an exercise science major. Okay. So like I know a lot about the body mechanically, biomechanically, how athletes work, all that stuff, all the fancy credential stuff. But like I'm getting real application here. I'm doing the therapies, but I'm also doing I'm working stretches and I'm working exercises that are like better improving functional movement, functional anatomy. Those are some big words I'll throw out. But like when I say that, it's not, everybody knows how to stretch. Everybody can hit the arm across the body. Everybody can hit some, toe touches. But like this, like the 3 chiropractors I work under, like 2 of them are like sports. It's a really weird name. I'm trying to think. It was like it's basically their sport, like athletic training certified, but like at a doctorate level. So they're doctors of sports training almost.
Okay. So yeah,
But
so
they're chiropractors,
yeah.
which is why I'm saying this weird alignment. So they work these very, very special and specific kind of movements that like, so I have a bunch of back. You remember I fractured my back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there for 3 days and they've had me doing stretches and I'm walking around like a new person. I feel loose, I feel mobile, and like I just feel like I'm learning so much applicable stuff there that I never could have even imagined.
Yeah. Stuff you
And
wouldn't think about, younger. Yeah.
I was getting this job, so I'm getting this job so I can have hours to go to grad school. And I want to go to grad school to be an orthopedic PA, working like orthopedic surgery, like the people that did your knee.
Mhm.
So my big, like I was getting to, my big grand scheme of things, I could take the knowledge that I've gained training at a basic fundamental level on my own. I could take, you know, the real world athletic training knowledge I'm getting in this chiropractor office, any knowledge I'll gain through PA school, which I'm sure is beyond crazy. And then when I have some bread for my job, hopefully, I'll be able to open a facility like you were talking about, you know, a facility you can host runs, you can host, I would do my training out of there. I've gotten a lot into weightlifting. I would love to have like a little athletic regiment. Here's something I'd love to talk to you about on a side note, because I'm all random everywhere. So
Hit me.
what do you, I talk about this with a lot of people because, you know, a lot of high school athletes, A, get injured, but B, aren't, you know, there are those freaks of natures like Mikey who are going to be 6'5", filled out, strong. But then there's people like me, man. I graduated high school 145 pounds. I was tiny.
I'm right there with you, man.
We were in the gym. We were lifting.
Yep.
We were doing workouts 5 days a week. Why was I not getting bigger? We brought in, Coach Love brought in a guy. You remember that big swole dude? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about from, I think
I
it
know
was
you're talking about had us doing stuff in the back gym and all kind of, yeah.
So we're bringing in professional people, but like to me, we weren't seeing the results. So like my big thing I talk about with a lot of the athletes I work with at the high school level now is, first of all, correct weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a complicated topic because it's just kind of, you have to see it to explain it, but like mainly nutrition, bro.
Yes.
I changed my diet about a year ago. And I went from like 160, no muscle, well, like 155, no muscle, just kind of skinny. You knew me when I was a sophomore, and I'm up to, like, I weighed in actually today, and I'm 173 now, and I feel in the best shape of my life. I'm the strongest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the most mobile, athletic I've ever been. And it was almost purely just because of a change in diet. Like in high school, I'd eat those school lunches, and don't get me started on those school lunches. And 8th period, I come home. I'd eat because I'd be hungry, but I wouldn't eat a lot. I wouldn't eat right.
Yeah.
Go to bed, or like I'd take a nap after school, do whatever after school, eat dinner, eat whatever dinner. But like, if I had known like proper nutrition, it's not even like it's very difficult. You know what I mean? It's just proper foods, eat like one big healthy meal a day, especially when you're in high school, you can eat whatever you want, but like there are so many easy, simple solutions that can make the big word a lot of people in my field use is optimal, you know, like you're only being 20% effective if you're lifting and not eating correctly and not, you know, taking your proper care of your body. But if you make 2 or 3 small changes to your diet and your like lifestyle, you can go from 20% optimization to like 80%.
Man, look, that's the same thing. I had the same kind of realization. I mean, one, even in high school, I'm sure both of us, like you said, we were smaller. We tried to gain weight. We tried to eat a lot, but it's this thing. I didn't realize that till probably about 3 years ago, man. And when
you've gotten like significantly, like you're pretty strong now, man.
Yeah, man. Look, I took myself from, 165 to about 180 in a fairly, honestly, fast, pretty like amount of time. But it's just
it was surprisingly simple once you kind of, like I said, you probably got 1, 2, 3 things clicking that are pretty simple, and you're like, dude, this is easy. You know what I mean? You just got to put in the work from there.
Man, no, that's awesome though. Like you said, that you're doing that, all that stuff that you're doing is kind of, aligning up into one like that potentially, bro. That's something that if you,
man, I'm plotting. I'm telling you, for anybody who's watching, I'm plotting out here.
Dude,
I'm trying to make some big things happen.
I'm right there with you, man. I love it. But so I do want to say, with the kids, with the training and the coaching now. First of all, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, talking about how it's so much different. Trying to deal with these younger kids and going from playing at a fairly high level. What's the biggest difference you would say in terms of going from? I mean, we people who trained with people when we were younger to playing at a fairly high level to now taking these kids and you're teaching them, you're the one teaching. You joked around about it, which I thought was funny. We were talking a little while ago, and you were like, yeah, now I don't call fouls in the drills, which is hilarious. But what's it
Hacking 'em,
like,
bro.
man?
I'd be hacking them.
And they can't do anything about it. So what's it like, man, being in that position now and kind of being more the mentor?
Man, so here, like, there are better trainers. There are people out here 10 times more qualified than me. There are people in Auburn 10 times more qualified than me. Um, my approach to it is unique, and I think that's something in this field that can be very valuable.
Yeah.
I approach, obviously, I give good workouts, good drills. I push my players, but those are the simple things. If you go to 3 different trainers, they're all, I mean, if they're good trainers, they're all going to push you hard. They're going to give you good, challenging drills that will improve your player development. And, just things along that line. You know what I mean? You're going to have the fundamental kind of common things. But with my players, I take a lot of time stressing a lot of the mental game. And not even so much as like Kobe Bryant mental, as in seeing the game, because that's almost something you just have to get a feel for. But I break it down. I'm also a psychology minor. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Yeah, so I graduated with psychology minor with my exercise science degree. But I apply like a headspace. So a better way would just to kind of give you an example. I know you'll relate to this. So when we were playing in high school, you and me, I would argue that you and me were 2 of the top 5% talented players in whatever region. It could be Birmingham, half of Alabama, whatever. We were good, solid players. We were great.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
I'll argue we could have been 2 times better than we were.
I'd agree with that.
Right? And
Yeah.
that doesn't just go for you and me. That goes for almost anybody that was on our team. Our team was deep, bro. That could have been anybody.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree.
And Wyatt, Yaden, Peyton, Peyton was the GOAT, but even
Still, yeah,
better, bro. Everybody can be better. But like, I think a big factor in that was our team's kind of psyche. And I'm not gonna point names, I'm not gonna point fingers, call names, but like, I did not feel the level of comfort playing basketball and out on the court as I do now. It is 10 times slower.
Yep.
So what I work with like on my players is a mind state of being comfortable. Lots of trainers, will yell at you. They're usually not yelling at you bad, but like I'm really breaking down because a lot of the kids I coach too. So I had the special benefit of like being their coach and their trainer, if you know what I mean.
No, that's huge because you get to see them in game and then go work with them.
Apply that, and like so, I instill this. I'm instilling these mental kind of states of like I'm big with confidence. I hate when a lot of kids, especially middle school. Everybody knows what it's like to be in middle school. Especially, I'll get kids that get frustrated and they go, "I can't do it," and I'd never make them run, but I'm like, I pause everything. I'm like, everybody stop. I'm like, don't ever say you can't do something. You don't manifest that, like not on any whack stuff like that, but like,
no, for real.
I'm a big person that if you're going to sit there and you're going to say, I can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it.
No.
And like a lot of coaches put that negative manifestation in players. They create this negative energy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I really work with keeping these kids in like confidence, positive attitudes. Mistakes are going to happen, especially in a sport as fast-paced as basketball. Don't beat yourself up, but don't accept it.
Yep.
And it's very situational on a lot of stuff I work on, but like what I'm trying to get at is I work on a level of game that's past physical and athletic ability. You think, look at some great players in the NBA, like Steve Nash, Ricky Rubio. I'll even give Chris Paul. He had a tough little stretch in the finals, but that's because Drew was cold.
Yeah,
Uh,
not
these
much you
guys,
can do.
these guys are 6 feet tall. I'm not gonna say they're not athletic. They're top tier athletes, but they're not nearly as athletic as the people surrounding them in the sport.
Yeah,
So what's making their game crazy? It's not. I mean, they're good shooters, they're good ball handlers, but it's their mental game. You know what I mean? That Chris Paul controls the flow of a basketball game without touching the ball,
yep,
or I mean, holding the ball and not being a threat. Drew picked him up 3/4 of the court the entire series because they knew that would keep Chris Paul, that would limit his ability to dissect the game and break it down in front of everybody.
yep.
So
And
like I think.
don't even get me started on that. Like I know, not to stop you.
I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will.
We can talk about a lot of the final stuff. But
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead.
my final point was just like I'm trying to instill at a young age this confidence and this mental process that like you can be a game changer, or like I can make these guys better mentally. And I think that's a big thing I add with these kids is that, you can go through all the skill work. These kids will work their butts off skills. They can do that at home. But I didn't have somebody there telling me how to think. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
had great trainers, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I worked with Coach D down at Montevallo, but Coach D wasn't there to watch my games. He wasn't there to talk to me after my games or be there at my practices or anything. So I'm making the most out of my opportunity of the kids. I mean, I do this with the kids I don't coach too, but like I really instill this mental game within them. And I try to make an example that like that is a really important thing in going to the next level. If you can think ahead and you can really break that game down, then you don't have to be the most talented. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the biggest, the strongest, fastest, but your impact will be seen. And college coaches will love that.
No, bro. Like that's look. I honestly, I had some thoughts on it as well. I couldn't say it any better than you just said. I mean, the confidence part of it is scary how big that is. Not only that, but for these kids, you got to think the kids who are already, the kids you were talking about are the ones who are working. Whether it's their parents made them to or they want to, you're already working regardless, right? So my thing with that is,
Real quick, I'm not to mean to interrupt you.
go ahead.
Not do I instill a confidence, but I've dealt with overly confident players, and I'm huge on bringing that back down. You know,
Yep,
humbling is as important as having confidence.
just big.
There's a difference between confidence and cocky. You know what I mean? But continue with that. I just wanted to point that out.
No, I was just gonna say for these kids who are already clearly, if they're in the position they're in, they're putting in the work. I think something else that's right up there huge is trusting that work. And part of that is obviously confidence, man. I don't mean to, make this about us or a huge blast on the past, but like talked about, man. We're
This
both
is
guys
gonna be a blast from the past. It's inevitable, bro.
oh yeah, a little bit. Why not? We're both guys who, compared to a lot of people, I know a lot of people we play with, we both, didn't just love the game, but love putting in the work behind it. Like I said, we love
Love the
to
process.
this day, man. I'll go to the gym and just shoot for myself. I love doing that. But to be able to do that, whether you're training with these kids or you're training by yourself, if you're going in there and you're doing all this work, you're hitting these shots, this drill work, whatever you're doing, you've got to trust yourself to be comfortable enough with it, and like both of them comfortable and confident enough with it to actually do that in the game. And that's something that I wish I would have had somebody like you mentioned when we were younger, talking to me about that, putting that in my ear, just because all that work you're doing is great, but it's got to translate, and it will. You got to trust yourself. So I
Yeah.
think that's a huge part of it as well, man.
That also opens up the idea that, you see, this is where a lot of people from the outside who haven't been in like college programs, professional programs, undervalue the role as a coach. Huge responsibility. This is more true of the NBA than anything, but like huge responsibility of the coach isn't a lot of the X's and the O's.
Mm.
It's rallying troops. It's getting them in that headspace. It's getting them ready to go out there and lay it all on the line, having them confident, making his players the best that they can be.
Yeah,
You
you got
know,
to put them in a position where they can succeed. You got to
yeah,
put them in the best
yeah.
position.
And I think a lot of coaches get caught up in high school, especially. A lot of coaches get caught up in the wins and the losses, and they're quick to say, you can learn a lot from a loss, but like, look at why are these players like I think so fundamentally. I'm like, why is this player playing bad? I have a kid that plays a bad game. Kids are gonna play bad games.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna overthink that. a kid's going to have an off night, he's missing shots. But if I'm seeing a kid have a bad game for a reason, or, I can pick out that reason, or I can ask him, or I can figure it out, then I'm going to break that down. And like, one thing I think that makes me at least a pretty solid, maybe just a solid youth coach.
Yeah, there we go.
I firmly believe that I can bring the most out of my team. I may not have the best team. Heck, I most of the time don't have the best team. But like we will play smart, we will play hard, and like this is so cliche, but like my kids have fun. They love playing with me. It doesn't matter. I mean, the kids they don't like to lose. No one likes to lose. It's gonna happen. But like we work. I explain this is gonna happen. This is part of the process. I hold people accountable, even though they're in the 5th and 6th grade. I think that's a big thing with kids. You can't tiptoe around failure. They need to know. They need to know that failure is not wrong. I'm never going to sit there and be like, Robert, you missed that free throw. You lost us that game. No, never. I'm going to say, hey, we had some opportunities at the end. Robert, you could have made that free throw. You're going to miss those sometimes. You're going to get opportunities, and you're not always going to succeed in those opportunities. There's nothing wrong with that. You missed that, but we're going to build off of that. You know what I mean?
I get that. No, man. And I will say this, especially coaching in general. I mean, it's different at each and every age group, but people don't realize how tough that is, especially I'll speak to it at the high school level. You get the responsibility of not only 2 things you said. 1, the pressure of the wins and losses. 2, the getting your best, out of your guys. 3, you're literally you've got that added kind of responsibility, and this is more so in high school and college, of making these young men. So it's a tough challenge for sure, but it's something that is crazy, man. People don't realize how much coaching at all levels impacts players, teams, just everything that goes
on the court. You know what I mean?
Everything, man.
That's towards another thing I was explaining with the mental thing is like I teach them thinking that applies off the court, man. That applies, how you should carry yourself in life. You should be confident in everything you do, because my favorite phrase, the kids they hear it more than anybody. If you don't believe in yourself, then who's going to believe in you? Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
That mean, like, if you can't believe in yourself to do whatever it is, to go and get an A on a test, or to go and score 10 points or 20 points, whatever goals you have in life, then why should anybody else believe it?
No one else is going to do it for you.
No one else. Well, like, I wouldn't, if someone told me they don't think they can score 20, I'm gonna be like, well, I don't think you can score 20 either, bro. You know what I mean? Or if one of my homies comes in, he's like, man, I don't think I can get this girl. And I'm like, well, yeah, you ain't gonna
get attitude.
Yeah, no, and it's like some of these things are so cliche, but like they're just so fundamentally true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to instill these things that they can apply to, and that's one of the things a lot of people talk about. Sports applies to the real world. Lots of like to be on some adult stuff is a lot of business and everything. Love athletes, love hiring college athletes because the core values and everything you learn about it applies to more than just sports. And I try to like I said, I'm trying to get this in at a younger age with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to make it seem like I'm always successful, man. I got some kids that really resist it. They don't. They kind of want to be there to be cool. They want to be good. They want to be good, but they don't want the full spectrum of learning and knowledge. And that's part of working with kids that are 10 or 11. What were you doing when you were 10 or 11? I might have been eating rocks, bro. I don't even know what I was up to.
Not working hard at basketball. Look, them being there is more than I was doing basketball when I was at 10 or 11. So
it took me to get to 7th grade before I was really in that grind. But I mean, like I said, I'm trying to get them ahead. They want to be ahead. They want to work with me. If I've learned anything, this is a little side note too, is what's crazy is how much you can teach them at such a young age. When I first started working with them, I was just doing, like some crossovers back and forth at some cones, going to do some layups. And I got these kids, within 3 months, I figured out, I was like, listen, they're going to suck at it the first day we work on it. And I was like, if they work on it like a day, 2 or 3, these kids could do just about anything I'm having my high schoolers doing. I've got these kids doing all kinds of the cross, 2-ball cross, 2-ball between the legs. I got them doing they'll do that and then cuff the ball and then do a left hand no cuff layup. And they're in 6th grade. And I'm like, like obviously when we're first day we do that, dude, they're flinging it off the bottom of the rim, they're punting the ball, they're mad, and I'm like, stick with the process. 2 days later, these kids are just doing it, and I'm like, they just learn so fast. It's wild. It is
No, I
wild.
know it, man.
Once I figured that out, I was just like, I can throw anything at them. They'll just learn it. It's wild.
I swear, bro. I've got my little cousin who, I don't want to get this wrong on the episode. I think he's 7. I believe he's 7 years
You better.
old. And he's left-handed just like me, but I promise you, if you would have taken me, probably he works hard. He once he loves the game of basketball, he's worked hard since he was like 4. If you would take him now and probably me in like 10th grade and asked us both to do a right-handed layup, I guarantee you, like, I'll put my money on him making it more than I would myself. So I believe that 100%. Like, they can get going really quickly if they're taught correctly, which is, like you said, not to make it more about bigger stuff than that. That's for everything. You know, the younger you learn it, like that, you can kind of learn the school stuff, everything like that they can pick it up easily.
Dude, they're just a bunch of sponges. Let them soak it up. If they enjoy it, it makes it even better. It's easier to teach it if they like it.
Exactly, man. But so you kind of mentioned it. You got to go ahead and dive into it, man. I didn't know it was funny when I actually scheduled this with you. I wasn't sure if we were going to be talking about a series that was over or be talking about a game 7.
Oh, I wish we were talking about game 7, man. I'm hurt.
Hey, I'm not. So, I mean, yeah, just overall, you can get us going. Anything from that series, takeaways, thoughts, what you're thinking.
Man, Giannis drops, and this is not a knock on Giannis. This is just more of like how simple the game is for him, bro. Giannis, it's like the third quarter. I watch him get a buck, and I'm like, all right, yeah, Giannis has got like 22. I'm like, he's doing all right. And his stats pop up. His man's got 36, 18, and 6. And I'm like, on the most quiet, like, just like all within 10 feet of the basket.
Casual.
I watched him hit 1-3 the entire series. It's just that easy. He made it like
17 of 19 from the free throw line. I'm like, have I seen Giannis miss a free throw all night long?
He was cold at home. He shot great at home.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to get on that mental level again? Did you see what Giannis was talking about when people were giving him hell about missing all those free throws? Mm-hmm. And he said, he's like, man, this is a rough quote. I'm going to butcher it. But he was like, I've missed free throws for the game. I've airballed free throws for the game. I've airballed free throws in every quarter, all times. I've missed more than I've made in games. He's like, all this, all that. But he's like, that's not going to stop me from getting to the line, and that's not going to take my confidence away. He's like, I'm gonna keep shooting, and I'm gonna keep getting it. He's not phased. He's not phased by it. It doesn't matter. You see, that's just such a great way to look at it. Giannis is working hard to improve it. I can't imagine shooting a free throw at his height and length. It's probably crazy difficult. Throwing everybody counting at you. It's wild. But, all respect to him. He's one of those great mental athletes, man. He's just optimistic, positive. He's go-getter. You know what I mean? Bro. So, like I said, I can't be mad he won it, man. That's mad respect to him. He deserved it. He really did.
No, I wanted him to get it. And you mentioned that quote. He's one guy that recently I have loved listening to him talk, bro. Mm-hmm. The way he carries himself, the way and just in such a short period of time. I mean, he's 26. Just the way he carries himself, how he talks in his interviews.
I think part of that's the humbleness of him coming from another country and not coming from a lot. And like a lot of people don't come from a lot, but turn out a lot different. I think just him. I don't know a lot about Greece, but I do know that Greece isn't, this huge capitalist, massive society full of high wealth, low everything, and like. He came over into America, this just crazy culture pot of so many words I don't even want to say. You know what I mean? Just shit show. And he just came and he got it. He just went after it. He was there to play ball and he got it. On a side note, I saw this today because, I'm a shoe guy. You got your phone on you?
I do, right here.
All right, so Giannis got new shoes. And they're based off of one of his first tweet when he got to America. So Google
Giannis new shoes.
Yeah, Giannis smoothie shoes.
Oh, I remember that tweet about how much he loved.
He was like, I just got to, it was like completely butchered in English. It's honestly really awesome. It's like just got to America, tried smoothie for the first time, and it's like wow in all caps and a bunch of emojis.
These are
You see
kind of
them?
tough.
Yeah, they're tough, bro. They're $85.
Hold on, let me see if the camera. Come
Can't
on.
handle it.
Here we go.
Did you see? It's got fruit icons on it. It's on the other side. It's got like a banana and strawberries and stuff.
Yo.
They're cold, bro. They're cold.
I'm gonna have to give me some of these. Hold on now,
Dude,
man.
$85. That's in my budget. I'm broke as hell. That man's doing it for the people.
No, that's awesome. I mean, look, you remember when who else was it that did that back? I think Shaq used to do that. Shaq
Oh,
shoot.
Shaq does it. Shaq made millions of dollars off of $10 to $15 basketball shoes. He did it for the people.
They were all over Walmart. I remember
It's
Shaq.
hard not to love Shaq. You know, that's a whole different man. That man's a fool.
Comedy. Look, do you have are you on your phone right now or do you have it with you?
No, I got my phone.
All right, I'm gonna send you. So this is the next thing I wanted to kind of to get into, and it's really not fair because I've already seen it and had time to think about it. You may have seen it, but I'm gonna put you on the spot and get your thoughts on two things, and I'm gonna start with this one. I'll try to post it with the episode so the people, so you guys can all get in on it and hear it as well. But it's got a picture, and there are 4 point guards. It says you got to cut one player in their prime. Keep in mind that in their prime, so their peak. And in the photo, it's Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose, Chris Paul, and Steve Nash.
Oh, well, I mean, I already know my answer. But first of all, you just gave me an opportunity to flex. So I got to shout my man D Rose out. I got to sign Derrick Rose jersey, world. You heard it here first. Well, I got to flex that. No, that's like my
So you're not okay. I know who you're not cutting now.
Well, if anybody's cutting D Rose, you need to let me get their number. Because they didn't watch basketball. That man was insane.
Agreed. I know who it is, and
oh man, I'll
say this. Will, hold on, I'll say this. For me, it's got to be one of the guys on the right.
Oh, so we on different terms, bro.
What?
I think I'm cutting Russ, man. And you got to hear me out. You got to hear me out. Russ is one of the greatest players on paper. On paper. Great. Phenomenal. He's going to give you 30, 10, and 10. He's going to give you 20 and 20 on Nipsey Day. But
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But it could be my thing with Russ, and this is why if it could have been anybody, I probably would have picked Chris Paul. But Russ is not a winner, man.
He's not. I agree with that.
He doesn't play the game to win. To me, he plays the game to make himself look good. And Russ could be a winner. He could be that. He has all the potential in the world to do it. And it's not so much that he just makes a bunch of bad plays. If you watch him, he doesn't look like a bad basketball player. Two things that kill me with Russ. Shooting efficiency, which also results in player efficiency. He doesn't make an incredible amount of shots, but he also, sorry, my roommate just sent me a text saying you better stop hating on Russ. So I don't know, that man can hear me. But he's gonna take 20 around, 20, give or take 5 or 30 shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's gonna come up there.
And he might only make, like, I watched a game where this man shot 3 for 22. I was like, but you want to know what's wild? That man had 25 points.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Like that sounds like a typical Russ night.
Yeah, he looks good on paper. It's that efficiency, but it's also and in the NBA, there's such crucial moments when shots need to go in, and that's what hurt the Suns a lot, is that they couldn't get a bucket in moments they needed to. Mm-hmm. It's not even those last second buckets; it's the last 10 possessions of the game. Yeah. But Russell takes shots that just aren't good shots, and they look. Everybody says there's that phrase: "It looks good if it goes in." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But to me, that's why I choose Russ. But I also got to throw in the fact that he got daddied by my boy, or he got sunned by my boy Dame. Everybody be talking about Russ and Dame, and I can't even believe that's a conversation. Dame ended a franchise, bro. Everybody just dipped.
One of
Russ
the
got out
best
of there.
shots.
George got out of there. That was the most disrespectful shot I've ever seen.
One of the best shots I've ever seen in my life. Like no exaggeration.
Who was yours? Was yours Chris Paul? I hope you're not saying Steve Nash, man.
So, yeah, I get the case for Russ for sure. I mean, I can't argue. Like, he doesn't translate to it. We've said since we were younger, me and some guys, he's not. I love Russ. He's not a championship point.
Maybe one-on-one, like this is a one-on-one tournament. Him and D-Rose probably playing in the championship.
Exactly. For me, I'm going CP only because here's why, and it's kind of unfair. So I put a lot into it's talking about these guys' primes or their peak.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's thing he's just been sustainedly great.
Yeah.
For his entire career.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else on that list has an MVP. Somehow Steve Nash has 2. I'll leave that alone.
Well, we don't even get me started on that Kobe one, bro.
Yeah, look, I was looking at the numbers. I don't know if Steve really should have gotten either one of them, but that's neither here or there. I just think, if we're talking their peaks, I think Chris Paul. I think he's taken he's the 4th string there.
Now wait a minute. I got something for you to think about here. What was it? I don't know. Was it 09? They vetoed a Chris Paul to the Lakers trade with Kobe.
That was some bull.
Now that was some bull. First, that's something I needed to see. But that could have been. I mean, think about it. Didn't they also have? Was that the year that they had Dwight or it might have been? I don't. You're gonna have to fact check me on that. I'm terrible about knowing the years and all that, but they would have had an incredible team.
Oh yeah,
and that was Chris Paul in his. I mean, it was his prime. Like you said, his prime was never just a spike, but like he was better than he is now.
Yeah, I mean Chris Paul has a couple. I know one for sure. He might have 2 top 3 MVP finishes, but
like that could have been a defining moment on this list that could have put somebody else out.
It could have.
He wins a ring. We get to see, I mean, he had that opportunity this year, but it's just a little bit different playing with Kobe being Bryant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially when he's a distributor and Kobe's a shot maker.
And they both, I mean, look, Chris Paul gets sometimes slept on because he's so small, how good he is defensively. So him and Kobe defensively would have been
I mean, Chris Paul can get a bucket too. I think back to the finals, bro. I think a big thing that hurt the Suns is Chris Paul wasn't looking to score. He wasn't. I mean, you can tell what he was. He ISO'd and then would take his little fade, which was cold. But like half the time he's getting the foot out on the rim, man, and he's dribbling circles. And there's a time and place for that. But like when the defense knew he was doing that, they knew he wasn't going to shoot. So they were looking, where's this ball going to go? Let's get it there. Bucks, I got to give it to them. I mean, they played the Suns incredible.
Phenomenally. Now I will say this, and I agree. But was he not looking to score as much, or was it also? Drew is a dog, man. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted him.
Dude, that man. I think he was a huge X factor on that team.
It's ridiculous.
That huge game he had where he dropped like 28 and was just clamping. But he's one of those silent heroes, man. He's what we call like a coach's favorite. He does the dirty work, bro. Like I said, he's picking Chris Paul up 3/4 court. He's meeting people on help side at the rim. He's getting that clutch steal, bro, on Booker. Incredibly smart double team on Booker. Ripped it clean out of his hands. Booker is not a weak dude, guys. He made that thing look easy.
Yeah.
Bullied him.
Bro.
And then threw a lob. That's pretty cold, bro.
And he gets look, I'll say this. He kind of got some hate here and there because he was fairly inconsistent offensively during the series. But when he's asked to do as much as he is on D, I mean, he's asked to sit in the stance and guard the other team's best perimeter player for 40 minutes every night. That's a ridiculous. And he does it at such a high level. You mentioned it. He's picking up Chris 94 all night long. So I'm a huge Drew Holiday. I was just the other day watching a clip of him just playing defense against like some guys who aren't known, but some of them play in the NBA, some of them play professional overseas, and he's ridiculous. I had another one too. I told you I had 2 of them. So I'm gonna send you another photo.
Yeah.
And I feel like you might have seen this one. This one was kind of circulating around, but I'm gonna get your thoughts on it as well. If I can find it. All right, and I'll try to post this one too for people to see it.
Oh nah, bro.
Yeah, it's make it look. Let me explain. It's been making the rounds, people.
Oh, I've seen it.
If all six of these guys were on the same team at their peak, who would have to come off the bench? And in the photo is LeBron, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry, people. My answer is gonna piss y'all off. It's gonna pit. I feel like you might go the same direction.
Yeah.
Is it all right?
It's tough.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say mine, man. I love him to death. It's Bean for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Michael Jordan. That's Michael Jordan 2.0. I don't need Kobe out there too. Love him to death. I think Bean's got to come off the bench.
Damn. I hate just looking at this thing.
Tough, man.
You can't not play Shaq, most dominant big ever. Also, there's just not another center there.
Yeah.
Jordan GOAT. There ain't another point guard on there. There also ain't another Steph Curry on there.
So you're sitting at Bron, KD.
So here it is for me. It's KD is really the only power forward on there. You can play LeBron at power forward, so I gotta play KD at power forward. And so it's like, to me, it gets down to LeBron and Kobe at that small forward. And
I will cut this mic right now. If you bench LeBron, I'll cut this mic right now.
You gotta listen to me. You gotta listen to me, bro. So like, I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not. I'm a Kobe till I die fan. But LeBron is the more well-rounded basketball player. He is. Kobe was an assassin. Kobe didn't want to be a more well-rounded basketball, bro. He wanted to just come in there and give you buckets.
And kill you.
He wanted to give you difficult buckets. He didn't want layups. He wanted you to be in his face, and he wanted to make it, and he wanted just to look at you. He was just cold. He just wanted to run back and just – he was just cold. So, like, when you got a team full of, like, scorers, shot creators like that, it's just better to have LeBron there. So, yeah, that's when I first saw this. I thought long and hard about it too, but I was like, I think it's got to be Bean.
That's not bad. Hey, look, I know. So I'm a Bron guy, so I'm not gonna say easy, but I didn't mind doing it. I know for you Bean fans out there, that hurts to admit right there, but I respect you.
Yeah, I'm not. So like Kobe, like I said, Kobe's reputation isn't a GOAT reputation just because of the way the game is. I think he was. I'm gonna say one or two because everybody's gonna argue it. One or two, like the best pure scorer the game has seen.
I'd agree.
Like if you've ever watched that man, the difficulty, game in and game out, it was just wild. That man was just a bucket.
Man, you talk about, and I'm curious to see what you do here. So you mentioned all-time scorers. I would have Kobe up there too, and everybody kind of knows the names that get thrown out there. I feel like there's a guy whose name has kind of gotten tossed out of it because how the back end of his career is gone. But I want to see if you include him. Give me some of the best scorers. And if you don't know a lot of the old school guys, that's fine. But give me some of the best all-time scorers when you first think of it. Because there's a guy I'm curious.
I'm going in not any specific order. Is that correct? I'm not even going to try to rank them. So
just name some guys. Yeah.
You want 5? I'm going to give you Mike. I'm going to give you Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. 3 for 3.
I'm going to give you T-Mac.
Sleeper, but yeah, I like it.
He was, shot maker.
Everybody that was like he was Kobe, but a little taller. Even Kobe said that, which might have been a stretch, but you get the point.
And it's so hard to remember. We've had so many great just scores. So
how far would you have to go down? This is the guy I was curious about
because I might be addressing this. So I also got in this final spot where I'm really kind of bouncing with. I'm bouncing with Steph Curry just because of the way he changed the game with scoring. I mean, the dude, he's just kind of an X factor in that. But here's the thing with him. He's not limited to a sense, but like he's really a 3-point shooter. But like the ease he scores with 3, bro. I mean, he gives you 50 with 44 points from the 3-point line or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But also, so I'm putting him and AI in this kind of bouncing You know what I mean? That fifth spot.
Okay.
Now, I'm very well. I'm sure. I mean, I'm forgetting some people, but like my first four, I'm staying true to those.
No, those are locks, and it's not even forgetting some people. It's just one guy because I'm like I hear people talk about it all the time. You named all the guys that always get named. I mean, obviously, if you're talking today, Harden's in there eventually somewhere as you keep going.
I think Harden's better because of the rules than
That's
any of them.
no, I'd agree with that. But like the name, I was thinking, what do people not include Melo anymore these days? Because if you're talking three levels, look, I'm not like a huge Melo fan. I'm just three
Right.
all levels of scoring.
You're right. You know what? I give him a higher position. That you're right. That's such a slept on guy for some reason.
It's
And
because he's not like I mean I get it. He's not prime.
end of his career. If you've been watching this man is still giving out buckets. He just can't play defense. He's old, but he's giving out buckets. And he is thorough. It is. He's one of those players I talk about. The game is slow for him. He's just jab, you bite, you front fake, bite, whatever. He's anything you do, you're wrong, and he's gonna get a shot.
I mean, you talk about like mid range, post up, perimeter. Like he's got all the levels, man. So I'm just he's up there somewhere for me.
Yeah. You know what? Here's my one probably reason I didn't think of him. I really didn't watch a lot of Melo growing up. But now I did watch NBA and I liked a lot of people. I didn't watch a lot of Melo. Now I've always liked Melo. Like I played all the 2Ks. It was really fun using him in 2K. That post fade, unguardable. But I would have to look into some stuff. But I think he is top 7 or 8. I think undeniable. Because I mean that man. Yeah, he's pretty up there on the scoring list. And you're right, that is a sleeper. A lot of people don't mention him.
No.
He faded back just because of his kind of role in the league. He was always kind of lone wolf, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I've got
You know who I think is a slept on just all time ratings guy?
let me hear it.
Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
People sleep on Wade. And I'm not saying scoring. I'm not saying scoring or anything. I'm saying all like overall player all time. I think he's up there, man. He was a really, I think he was you can fact check me on this one too, but he was like I want to say the number one, he had the most blocks for a shooting guard in the NBA's history.
I could actually believe that 100%. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I could check and that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I think okay, Wade's interesting to me because I think it's like he gets his respect, but he's so clearly set in where he is. Like he's the third best shooting guard of all time, right? You got Jordan, you got Kobe, then it's Dwayne Wade.
Now you're getting in the danger zone. That's just, yeah. I mean, I'm a Wade guy. But you're the way that everybody's like Luka Doncic is a point guard, LeBron's point guard now. Everybody,
Yeah, that's true.
People just want to yell Harden at you, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. So, but no, I agree. Like Wade's, I mean, yeah, I love me some Dwayne Wade. I love it. Are you looking up right now? See, let's see.
Oh, I think he's second behind the GOAT. Oh yeah, so close. It was Michael Jordan with 828 blocks in his career. That's pretty cold, man. Wait, hold up.
He weighed at how much further behind him was he?
He was second.
You said Michael had
Jordan. Okay, but listen to this. So Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade averaged the same amount of blocks per game. Jordan just played more games.
What's the number?
They averaged 0.9 blocks per game as a shooting guard.
That's tough. No, a block a game as a shooting guard is very solid.
If you know your shooting guard is going to get out there and get a block, Dwayne Wade had 804 blocks. Slept on defender. A lot of people never talk about this. Kobe Bryant had he's fourth on the list.
Don't even get me started with that because I was one person who I was never happy. This whole postseason, I did not like, and he's a great player, but the whole book to Kobe comparisons, I was like, can we calm this down?
Yeah,
book's great.
Cold. Love me some book.
But come on now. It's almost like people forget this man Kobe was 12-time all defense. There's a lot more book needs to do before I could say that. But I'm trying to think, bro. I know we could literally sit here and talk hoops like for hours and hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep this thing going on dragging too long where people are like, damn, a 2.5-hour episode.
Yeah, what is this, a Joe Rogan podcast? You can always have me on again.
That's what
Like
I'm saying.
8 more months or something.
This has been one of my more favorite episodes for sure, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Listen, we could talk about anything, bro.
For sure.
You ain't a big hockey guy. I'll give you some lowdown on some hockey, man. That's a sport the world is sleeping on.
Hey, I got into it the last 2 games of the finals. I watched just because I was watching.
Finals sucked because Tampa Bay was like OP. They were playing some Canadians. Nah, like to anybody that's listening to this, man, you got to give hockey like a try. I mean, come on, it's
hockey.
Physicality of football mixed with the pace of basketball. What people don't realize is hockey, you don't score a lot, but the pace is so fast. They'll shoot 45 shots a game on net, and the goalies are doing like think about, dude. To me, now I'm on a tangent. You got me in my hockey tangent. The goalie in hockey is one of the hardest positions to play in any sport. And to me, you got to think about this. You're sitting here. You've got a mask over your face. You're sitting in what they call the butterfly, which is basically the splits. You're going up and down up the splits. You got to watch these guys do it. I don't even know if they're still dudes after doing half this.
And that'd be good for your knees.
No, I know they're hurting, bro. And like they're sitting there in a mask in the split, going in and out the splits. They've got 10 guys on the ice in front of them. They're following a puck that's this big in a stadium of people with flashing LED lights, like people screaming, Lord knows what, at a hockey game.
Yeah.
Like all these people and like one part of hockey strategy is when you're on offense, you have guys stand in front of the goalie. You can't get in his little zone, but they stand in front of the goalie to keep him from seeing the puck. And these dudes still will save. It's like the guy, Andrei Vasilevsky, the goalie for Tampa Bay, who won the MVP, like finals MVP. They have a different name for it. I'm putting it in basketball terms for y'all.
Okay.
But he had like a save percentage of 94%. So like 94, and that's all shots that like are on net that would go in if he didn't stop them. That's how they do the percent. Yeah. So like they're shooting 40 shots a game, and this man's saving like I remember one game they shot like I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan. We shot 55 goals or shots on him, and he gave up 0, and I was flaming. So like if you're shooting 40 shots that would go in, he's saving 38 of them. Like that's with all those factors I'm telling you about. That's just incredible.
No, that's nuts.
Yeah. That's nuts. And like, I also will give it to a soccer goalie, but that's just because they make like I've never understood soccer. Like the goal is massive. How is that doing?
Look, when you first started, I was actually going to ask, what about soccer? But then, I mean, the number of shots on goal, like
yeah, and that's
maybe 8 to 10 as opposed to 50 something. Bro, not even just the goal, like the skill required in hockey. I can barely ice skate, my guy.
Yeah, right.
The sport itself, all around it, just so
you're allowed to just throw people into the glass. You can you're getting hit with the stick, dude. These guys are like they're shooting. I want to like let me. I'm a big statistics guy. Let me see how fast the average like shot is.
Oh, it's got to be something ridiculous.
Around 100 miles per hour. This dense puck of like just dense material. These dudes, and yeah, they're in pads, but these dudes just will lay out in front of it, or they'll like crouch and just take it off. If they're lucky, not their like face and neck and helmet, but like shoulders, calves, like knees, and they'll be like they'll get hit and they'll just like cripple down the ice, and they'll get back up. They'll like go to the sideline, hit some smelling salts, and then just get back up there. You'll see it on TV. Like they'll go to the bench and all these. I mean, I like not my cup of tea or whatever, but they're just like they got to stay awake. They're just. I mean, these dudes are as tough as nails.
Bro, somebody hit me with that. This is why, very off topic again, and I'll probably close it out for this. You mentioned that I went to Tuscaloosa one year for the Iron Bowl. Somebody stuck one of those in my nose. It's like a stranger. I thought it was crack. I didn't know what had happened. I was like they did it. It happened so fast. I was like, hey. Like, what did you just do to me?
Yeah, I've seen people do that. I know like a lot of the like contact sports, like football or something. And that medical side that I see it, it's ammonia, so they use it like a lot of people who pass out or like they call it syncope. They just black out, pass out. they give it to you to wake you back up because
Mhm.
it's just something about it. It just shoots your brain back awake. Your brain's probably like, wow, why is this going in my body? But
Like, whoa, what's
you debatably got assaulted out in T-Town.
yes. But no, man, Will, this has been awesome, bro. Once again, it's about time. I appreciate you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
If you made it this far, I appreciate y'all for listening. And that's a wrap. So no hat. We're out, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, let me stop.